the original Facebook post, the primary documentation, if you will, and this was just secondary in case it came up, providing that to you.
Okay.
So I just have a copy of the letter that we sent to you, Glenn, last week or whatever. So I'm just gonna make sure you understand the process, I guess.
Thank you. That'd be great. Thank you. Yeah, just explain. Yeah. So.
Well, I hope I can explain it to some degree, but so in the policy there are grounds for formal discipline. Okay, and the one that we are bringing before you is the one that says an offense that's serious enough to warrant formal discipline is any of the following: an offense in the area of conduct that is unbecoming to a Christian as stated in the scriptures, which seriously disrupts the peace, testimony, or unity of the church.
So what's the process? So we come back together and we discuss, and you have said that we've sinned in that letter, I believe, that we're sinned, and we have to confess our sin and repent from it in a public manner. And what does that mean? Acknowledge publicly,
Sure.
I think is the term. I'm just asking because I don't know what that means as far as, because it's just a term. It could mean anything. Yeah. So I'm just wondering what are you?
What's the end game?
I commend you guys. I feel you want to restore us to good fellowship. I feel that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. So I'm just wondering what that means. What does that look for us? And I don't know. That's why I'm asking you.
Sure. I want to speak on behalf of everybody, but I'm at least going to give an opinion. So I think the initial intent was to provide you with the documents tonight and then schedule a meeting on the 24th at which you'll basically respond to the board. And then at that point, the board will give direction and clarity. Is that correct, Gary?
Yeah, I would think that, your response is going to be somewhere between, no, we don't think that's valid at all, to, yeah, that's valid, and, we're sorry about this. What that's going to look like is, the general principle is that the circle, like, I didn't need to, in my apology, respond to anybody except the board because everybody was there, so they're a contained unit. So it's like, and, then it becomes a matter of, well, where was the offense? How far did it extend and stuff, and how is that dealt with? And then there should be, apologies should extend to the range of where the offense was. And what that's going to look like, I don't think we're prepared to say at this point. I don't think we've decided exactly what that looks like. We just want to make sure that the apology is given, or if there's a confession, that would be to the extent of the people that who it reached.
Am I to understand that the Burgess post was taken down off of this?
I believe it was.
Okay. Do you know how long it was up?
I don't.
Do you know who took it down?
I do, but I don't know that I'll say.
I don't really
here
care
today.
who took it down. That's not.
I heard it was Sam Olds.
Okay.
So did Sam Olds take it down? He was the deacon at the time. So it's okay. I'm just
It
asking.
doesn't matter if he did or
I'm just
didn't.
asking, but I'm not upset with Sam. I'm just asking. So the reason I'm asking is because we're trying to understand the scope of what we're dealing with, and it's fair to ask questions. And so if this was up and down before the service was over, because I understand that's the rumor I heard was he took it off before the service was over. The scope's pretty low. I'm not looking to defend that. I'm simply throwing that out there as a thought process. I think the difficulty that we have right now in our church, and I shouldn't even pretend to know the difficulties, but we obviously need to function with honesty, ethics, integrity, truth. We need to call each other on the carpet when we need to. We need to be honest with each other. We need to be forceful. We need to be gracious, and all the things that I appreciate the peacekeepers in the world. And so I'm just trying to understand the thought process, because it does matter. These posts are still up, right?
Sure.
These posts are still up
Yeah.
versus
Yep.
these, right? Or this one.
Correct. Yeah.
So that's why I'm asking that question. So
Yeah, so the range would have been very likely if it was done, and I heard the same things, up and down. I didn't know if it was hours or minutes or what, but apparently the same day, then the scope of people that could have seen that would have been relatively small. But the other one would have, would be.
So what Bridget said is the question, he should not be doing any teaching from our pulpit. Is that considered divisive because it was her opinion, because it was put on Berean's website and it didn't follow the narrative of other people's belief? Is it, so I'm trying to understand how I would defend or not defend the statement to the board based on the idea that this is a statement, yes. It's an opinion, yes. Is it church discipline worthy? Hard to argue it would be if we really started comparing it to other documents posted by other people during similar times. We're having a conversation about opinions.
Well, and I think to answer your question is it's the process that the board has chosen to take to communicate and then seek reunification.
Right, I understand.
I guess my response to that would be, if it has not been applied even-handedly or things have gone, been missed here or there, etc., then that's, that isn't good.
If what had been missed, whatever. What do
If
you
other
mean?
people who did similar things weren't subjected to discipline, and that's just, it's a common thing and stuff like that, and this was just singled out.
I'm saying there's other people who posted other things on social media who have not been held to the same standard we're being held to. That's what I'm saying. So cool.
So I would say if that's the case, then I wouldn't be able to defend that. I would agree with you that there should be an even-handed approach to it. But I think one of the most important things that comes out to me on this, and this isn't a determination for the next meeting, but it's just kind of gives you something to think about, which I think is behind some of this, is that there is a proper way to express your opinions and things like that, and when they're critical of leadership or critical of the way things have been done, to somebody that has authority to do something about it, and that would be the deacon board. So for instance, your letter to, that when I came over and we sat down and looked at it and stuff, and you expressed that forcefully and emotionally and all of that, but you said, here, I'm funneling this to the deacons, and things kind of went that way, and I know the timing, was dragged out compared to what you want, and you kept kind of going after the board, and that can be irritating, but that's the proper way to do it.
So I shared that opinion with Chad the week before, but because the board didn't feel the same as I did, it was inappropriate for me to say that. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yeah, because your opinion, if it differs from somebody else, then, well, that's an opinion, but it can be divisive if it ends up being something.
Who is it going to divide? He was already going to leave.
Well, how does it reflect on the church and on Christ?
That we wouldn't allow someone who's deceiving people to continue to preach in our church.
That's your opinion.
Right.